Mystic Aquarium agrees to delay its acquisition of 5 beluga whales for research amid a lawsuit by an animal rights group trying to stop the delivery. The aquarium will not import the whales before March 31st now to allow time for a judge to decide on the lawsuit and avoid an effort by friends of animals to obtain a preliminary injunction to stop the delivery. The case is filed in federal court in Hartford.
Director of Paragon Trust Company and tax and private client practitioner, joins us to bring a common sense approach to money in a world of total insanity. Let's welcome Tony D'Angelo.
All right, good pal Tony D joins us, and his legion of fans now growing every single day up on the Facebook. And I saw you have a Twitter account now, Tony.
Yeah, I just got to figure out how to work it. Good morning and proud to be among everybody, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. I still can't figure out Twitter myself, man. I mean, I have an account, but, like, I get lost. I don't know who's tweeting me, and then I always feel bad by not getting back to them. So I get your tweets, I think, but I don't know. I'm trying my best. But good morning, man. As always, I appreciate it. Happy New Year right back at you. And you want to talk, or at least begin today, talking about CRISES, right?
Crisis and spin and things like that. And, I know we got some hockey fans out there. Freddie Shero, when he was the coach of the Philadelphia Flyers, during a moment of despair, walked in and told his players, you realize something, guys, they were about to get eliminated. In a year, they won the Stanley Cup. And he said, you realize, and he put it on a blackboard, a mouse clawing at a dike can flood an entire nation. And, apropos of your excellent monologue about, where are we going, we're all going to have to become mice, clawing at dikes, because the entire nation doesn't seem to be helping us very much. If we could take it from the national to the local, I think we kind of got some bees in the bonnet last week with our comments about the Lamont Public Relations contract, the $250,000 to the McDowell Communications Group for quote-unquote effective COVID-19 messaging. And this in a state where, if you go to the contracting portal, the state is spending $72 million over a period of years in outside public relations. For man, I mean, why do you need all these spin doctors? You must have really done something. But with that being as it is, the Hartford Courant had an article on Saturday about what's really happening here. Why are we doing this? And the head of the Department of Health, Dr. Deidre Gifford, came out and said, well, this is really my decision. This is really something that I did, and we're having an issue with vaccine rollouts. And, we need people who will go and have a effective message. And I started to noodle on that, and I started to come down at the contract's for 3 months. Why is it 3 months? And, can it be extended? And the answer is, like anything else in Connecticut, of course it can. And after a while, I said to myself, this really sounds like horse hockey, Lee Elci. Because I then went back to the contract, and the question, the big thing is, why the McDowell firm? Well, it just takes a little bit of intuitiveness to go and read down that McDowell and Mr. Lamont go back for years and years and years. She worked on his campaign, and that was only most recently. So it wasn't like, a health department decision. It was one of these things of, this is a decision I want for you to make. But one thing really caught me, and I had to read this over twice, and I didn't pick up on this the last time. There's 15 points that McDowell is supposed to do. Number 7 is manage crisis communications to ensure consistent and accurate messaging. This is what you keep hearing. Consistent, coordinated.
Does it say honest in there?
I'm sorry?
Does it say honest?
No, it does not. But this term crisis communication got me. Now, I thought, well, crisis communication is help, firemen, save my child, my house is burning down. But no. Crisis communication is what is known as a term of art in the public relations game. This is a term specific to this trade. And Wikipedia's got a terrific definition of it. It's a subspecialty of the public relations profession that is designed to protect and defend an individual, company, or organization facing a public challenge to its reputation. So the question is, what's the crisis? Is it something he did Is it something he's going to be doing? We thought this guy was cool as a cucumber. Everything's happening. He hired somebody for crisis communications, and that's a term of art. And again, these contracts are specific. So guess what, folks? There's a crisis going on.
But we just don't know what it is yet.
We just don't know what it is. I have some theories.
Would you like to share those with us?
I don't know if it's a past crisis or an impending crisis. Let me give you a past crisis.
All right.
You know, life here in these here parts. I walked into the Pomfret Mart on New Year's Eve, and the very nice gentleman that runs the market has the newspapers all stacked up to my left. So I have a couple of online subscriptions. I normally I buy enough in the store where I could peek at the newspapers and not feel terribly guilty. And the Hartford Courant had a headline saying the COVID positivity rate is 9.1%. Okay, this is terrible. And now, again, you read the article, there's nothing cited or verified or where they got this thing from. And I made a mental note, which I actually remembered when I came back in the house, and I said, well, what's the CDC site? Again, maybe not the most reputable site in the world, but what are they saying about the state positivity rate? And they had it at 5%. Like, okay, we have a discrepancy here of close to 50%. Right. So I had posted on that, and I had sent it to the governor, and I said, well, is this why you need a spin doctor? Because you've been serially lying for all of this time. You know, it's absolutely positively ridiculous, and you have this quote-unquote media message which is kind of bucking up your lie. Now, interestingly enough, when he came out yesterday, the rate was 5.1%. So I personally am responsible for healing how many people from COVID, Lee Elci? I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous.
All right, so wait a second. So in one day, essentially...
Or 3 or 4.
3 or 4 days, they cut it in half.
Exactly. Exactly. And I ran the fastball under his nose. I sent it right to him. And so it's like, these McDowell people must love me. I'm giving them tons of work. But there's something else that caught me, and this is really part of a much bigger issue. There is an equity called TruePill. TruePill is on the Oak HCFT platform, and what it is online pharmaceutical delivery. Now, again, Oak HFT, Zeke Emanuel, who's known as Dr. Death, who was a partner in this, and he's a player in the, in the Biden administration with COVID. And the start of this is interesting. Again, we're talking spin. Why do you need a spin doctor? Again, the spin money comes from federal funds. Now, TruePill started in December of 2019. One of the largest investors that's right on the SEC documents is Ann Lamont, and they raised $75 million in August and September. That's an awful lot of money for a speculative venture. I mean, especially when, the stock market's doing reasonably well. And it's like, this looks kind of curious to me, but I didn't really put this together until I was getting ready to leave the house. I guess it was on Saturday morning. And I started to watch these commercials for something known as Lemonade. Now, Lemonade is a telehealth corporation, and it was a commercial on mental health. Do you feel depressed? Do you need to talk to somebody? Well, pick up your phone, talk to somebody who will send you a pharmaceutical. And it's like, and that's kind of interesting. My first thought is, of course, doing what we do here. How is Oak tied into this? And the answer is TruePill is one of the main pharmaceutical deliverers for Lemonade. Like, okay, so you started this in September. You anticipated this dark winter. January 3rd, I'm watching this commercial before I go out. And, it's like, I'm tired of it. This is wrong. We have a direct cause and effect relationship between someone in government with the spin doctoring who could turn up the temperature anytime he wants to make people who are mentally troubled fearful, and his wife can sell into this. And, man, that's just for openers.
We only got a couple minutes left, but I always go back to this with you, and I say to myself, okay, so this is not what you do for a living, right? You don't dig. getting paid
Well,
journalists.
I mean, in my work, I've got to research and dig and build
Sure.
cases.
I guess that there's some truth to that. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that there are journalists out there who don't do any of this. And none of it is out. And I hate to say it like that because this is the profession that I'm in, but that's really not my job. But I mean, I never see any of this anywhere. Never. And unless sometimes you bring things up and then 3 months later, someone grabs it. But it's just
That's
remarkable.
exclusive.
I mean, does that surprise you at all?
It does, and but then again, I think that we've gotten into such a state of complacency, and it's like, that's what they do, and we really don't care the way that we should. It does and it doesn't. Right now, it surprises me a great deal because it's almost like becoming a charade. It's like and the thing is, ask the questions. If somebody were to make a horrible accusation against me and I were in the public trust, like, well, no, here it is. This
Right.
is what's happening. It's all there for you. But it's duck, run, hide. I don't. I mean, I get it and I don't get it. I mean, there's obviously there was $75 million in this, whatever you want to call it, pharmaceutical delivery firm. So we've said for years, money talks, and a lot of other stuff walks.
Well, and his approval ratings keep going up. I mean, at least they were up the last couple of times. I mean, people are they're walking sheep, man, like zombies. It's like the Night of the Living Dead. They just don't listen. They don't hear.
And his approval ratings keep going up, whatever source you're reading, but yet he's got to spend federal money for a spin doctor.
Tony, you're the man. Listen, thank you as always.
My
Great start.
pleasure. Have a great day,
You
everybody.
too, buddy. Great start to a new year. I appreciate it. We'll come right back. Again, Bob Lazari, World of Sports, joins us next. Stick around.